Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about an artist who is, without a doubt, one of South Korea's most beloved icons, IU. Her story? Well, it's this amazing journey from a teenage prodigy to a true cultural force. It's basically a masterclass in talent and artistic evolution. So here's how we're going to break down her story. We'll start with her debut as a prodigy, then talk about the good day phenomenon that made her superstar. After that, we'll see how she took control as an artist, became an icon on screen, and finally, her decade of pure dominance. All right, let's get right into it. Okay, first up, a prodigy's debut. We're talking 2008 to 2009, when a powerful voice emerged. Our story kicks off back in 2008. A 16-year-old singer, IU, her real name is Lee Ji-eun, steps onto the music scene. And let me tell you, even though she was super young, her talent was just undeniable right from the get-go. So she officially debuts with this ballad called Mia. And, it wasn't a huge commercial hit right out of the gate. But what's interesting is that the song itself was pretty dark and complex, especially for a rookie her age. It was her voice, that raw power, that really made critics sit up and pay attention. And then the public really caught on thanks to these things called MR removed videos. You've probably seen them. They strip away the background music and just leave the live vocals. And wow, they prove she had incredible stability and skill on stage. No question about it. And it wasn't just the critics either. You had respected industry veterans, like the musician Yoo Hee-ol, saying things like this right from the start. He's basically saying, hey, all the pros I know are pointing to her as the next big thing. When seasoned musicians are already buzzing about you, well, that just sets the stage, doesn't it? It was a clear signal that she was someone you had to watch. All right, Section 2, the Good Day Phenomenon. This is from 2010 to 2012, where the nation's little sister is born. So if 2008 and 2009 were about building her reputation, 2010 was the explosion. I mean, this was the year everything changed. This is when IU goes from promising rookie to an absolute national sensation. It started in June 2010. She drops this duet called Nagging, and boom, her first #1 hit. But that was just the warm-up, because in December, she releases the song that would basically define an era for K-pop, Good Day. This wasn't just a hit song, this was the track that launched her into the absolute stratosphere. And when I say it was a hit, I mean, look at this. 29 consecutive days at #1 on the Melon Daily Chart. For that time, that was just an insane run. It wasn't just a song, it was a total domination of the charts. This is what cemented her status as a true top-tier star. But what really made Good Day an instant classic? It was this moment, the legendary 3-level high note. Seriously, this wasn't just some cool ad-lib. It was a technical marvel. To sustain 3 distinct rising high notes like that, it showcased insane vocal control and power. It became her signature move, like a full-on pop culture moment that everyone in Korea knew. Okay, next chapter. The artist takes control from 2013 to 2016. So she's achieved this massive fame. She's known as the nation's little sister. And what does she do? She makes a really crucial pivot. Instead of just riding that wave, she starts seeking more creative control. She was totally determined to become more than just a pop idol. And this right here really shows you that deliberate shift. Think about it. In the K-pop world, which is pretty structured, most artists perform songs that are made for them. So for her to take this much creative control, that was rare and honestly pretty risky. She went from bright pop concepts to more mature vintage ones. She went from being given songs to writing and composing her own. It was a total conscious transformation from that nation's little sister image to becoming a respected musician. And she did it all on her own terms. And you can literally see this evolution through her albums. In 2013, you get Modern Times, which was this incredibly bold dive into really complex genres like swing and jazz. Then comes A Flower Bookmark, where she remakes classic Korean songs, a huge success that showed her deep respect for musical history. And then the big one, Chatshire in 2015. This was the first album where she's credited as the sole lyricist and producer. That's her taking the ultimate step, taking full creative command. Okay, on to our fourth section, an icon on screen. Because, as if totally conquering the music world wasn't enough, IU decided to build a second career, an equally successful one, as an actress, this time using her real name, Lee Ji-eun. So she gets her start in 2011 with Dream High, but she proved her range so quickly. By 2015, she's playing this jaded, cynical top star in The Producers, and people were really impressed. But then, she takes on these incredibly dark, transformative roles, especially in the 2018 drama, My Mister. And her performance there, it was just on another level. That's when she really started earning widespread critical acclaim on top of her popularity. And just to give you an idea of how powerful her acting was in My Mister, listen to what the director, Kim Won-suk, said. "I'm holding back on talking about Lee Ji-in. I can't put it into words." He's basically at a loss for words. He's saying that the character he imagined in his head was always a little less than the one she brought to life. I mean, imagine getting that kind of praise from the director. It means you didn't just play the part, you became the part, and then some. And that brings us to our final section, a decade of dominance, from 2017 to today. This is the era where IU isn't a rising star anymore. She's a veteran, an institution. Her career now is all about consistent, jaw-dropping excellence, breaking records left and right, and earning this incredible level of respect from everyone in the industry and the public. So, what's really crucial to understand about this period is her longevity. It's one thing to have a hit. It's another thing to stay at the top. Just look at this table, and this is just a fraction of her Daesung wins. That's the grand prize, the highest honor at Korean Music Awards. She won her first big one for Good Day in 2011, and she's still winning them for songs like Blooming and Celebrity a decade later. That kind of consistency is just unreal. And if you need one single moment to capture her influence, this is it. In 2022, she became the first Korean female solo artist to hold a concert at the Seoul Olympic Main Stadium. We're talking about the biggest stadium in all of South Korea. That's a venue that's usually reserved for, like, the biggest boy bands on the planet. For her to do that as a female soloist, she didn't just sell out a show, she broke a barrier. She made history. So when you look at IU today, you're not just looking at a singer. You're looking at the complete artist. She's a singer, sure, but she's also a songwriter, writing her own hits. She's a producer with her own vision for her albums. She's an acclaimed actress. And on top of all that, she's also a well-known philanthropist, consistently making huge donations. She really does it all. So when you trace her path from that teenage prodigy with this massive voice to a completely self-producing artist to a true cultural icon, her journey has been absolutely extraordinary. She's constantly pushed the boundaries and redefined what's even possible for a solo artist in Korea. Which leaves us with the big question, right? After more than 15 years of breaking records and reinventing herself, what on earth will she do next?